So, will Autopilot handle traffic circles? Today we find out. Good morning, everyone. This is something that I've been kind of curious about for some time. I've experimented with it just a tiny bit, but I've always kind of chickened out and grabbed the wheel before the Autopilot had a chance to make it all the way through a traffic circle. So today I wanted to try it to its conclusion and see if it'll actually handle all the way entering, through, and exiting a traffic circle. So let's go ahead and get to it. This is an experiment I've been wanting to do for some time. So what I'm going to be doing here is approaching a traffic circle or a roundabout, and I'll be approaching it at a relatively low speed in Autopilot. Now what I'm going to do is have my hands off the wheel, and you're supposed to always have a hand on the wheel in Autopilot. However, I'm going to be taking my hands off the wheel just for purposes of this demonstration, but I'm going to have my hands at the ready. And the first thing I'm going to do is approach the traffic circle at a very slow speed to try to give Autopilot the best chance of making it through. I'm exceeding the speed limit a little bit here just because I want to make sure I get a gap between myself and the cars behind me. But so I'm going to go into Autopilot as I approach the traffic circle, and I will drop the speed down and see how it handles it with my hands at the ready. And there are a number of traffic circles in my area. This is the main reason that I wanted to do this video, is to show you guys what Autopilot is capable of. I would never recommend trying this because Autopilot was only really ever meant for the expressway, and Tesla has been very clear on that point. So here's the traffic circle you can see approaching. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in Autopilot, and I'm going to begin dropping my speed here. And so let's see what it does here. I've got cars coming up behind me, so it says it recommends 20 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it to 20 and see if it handles the traffic circle. And I'm ready to take over. It's sketchy. It's really sketchy, but it handled it. So now let's speed it back up so I don't get the person behind me too aggravated. So there's first attempt. I'm going to go ahead and take a side street here and go ahead and do it from the other direction and see how it does there. And the reason I'm doing it in both directions is that many traffic circles differ in their lines and their lanes for each direction, and this particular traffic circle is no different. The direction I just came from is just a single lane going around. This direction has two separate lanes, one for straight through and one for turning. So let's go ahead. There's nobody behind me this time, and now I've got it at 25 miles per hour. And again, my hands are off the wheel, but I'm at the ready to take over. So let's see how it does here. This is kind of sketchy, and I'm wondering which lane it's going to take, because there's a straight through lane. Oop, told me to grab hold. Oh, there it went over the curb, and it's telling me to take over immediately. So, yeah, so it didn't like that direction. I'm going to go back the other way at 25 miles per hour and see if it likes the other direction at a little bit more, a little bit higher rate of speed there. So we'll drop it to 25. Now again, in this direction, it's less confusing for the Autopilot because there's only a single lane going around the roundabout. So, it is so sketchy. Yep, it didn't like that at all. So it looks like it will do it, but only at 20 miles per hour. And I'm going to go ahead and double back and try it again in both directions at 20 miles per hour and see what we get out of it. There's much less traffic in this direction. Pretty much any time of the day, there's a lot less traffic in this particular direction. So we'll drop it down. There's 30. There's 40. excuse me, 25 and down to 20. So let's see which lane it decides to take. Okay, it's taking the innermost lane. Now before it hit this curb, and it hit the curb again and told me to take over immediately again. So, yep, definitely hates that double lane direction and hits that curb every time. So I'm gonna go back the original direction one last time at 20 miles per hour again and see if the first time I went through it was a fluke or if it's capable of doing it every time as long as the speed is low enough. So I've got one car approaching here, so I'll let them go by. Drop the speed down here as I approach. And all right, let's get it all the way down to 20 long before I get there to give the car a chance to really think and approach properly. There's a car just completing the roundabout in their direction. I did not hit the brakes, the car did that on its own. So really sketchy, but it handled it fine, I suppose. Let's give it some more speed here. So yeah, it never told me to touch the wheel or anything. So that is interesting, and I'm curious if Autopilot will work below 20. 18 is the slowest. So I think what I'm going to do is one last try in that difficult direction at 18 miles an hour, which is the bottom limit of what Autopilot will do. And just to see if that 10% lower speed will help the car get through. So let's see. Just one last try here. So there's no cars behind me. Again, this direction there are far fewer cars that travel on this road, so it's much clearer. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it all the way down. So as you can see, 18 is the lowest speed. Also, if you watch, as the steering wheel turns, so does the icon on the screen. It turns as well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and, oh, I was going to have it favor the right lane just for grins, but oh, it's at the, yep, went over the inner curb again. It definitely cannot handle that direction whatsoever. And so yeah, that is at least one particular traffic circle or roundabout in my area. And so just to show you guys, it doesn't affect anything in the car. It's now working on Autopilot just fine, and you know, no issues there whatsoever. So this has been kind of a fascinating experiment. There's another traffic circle in my area that is larger in diameter than this, but I hesitate to try it because, as you noticed, my car was in the one direction was catching that shallow inner sidewalk curb thing, and the other traffic circle that's near my home, they haven't finished paving it yet, and so the curb area has a sharp step up before it sweeps to the normal curb, and I'm afraid the car's going to catch that. I've got $3 grand worth of aftermarket wheels on this thing. I definitely do not want to curb rash my wheels because of a lack of paving. So I'll try that traffic circle in another day. But I wanted to give you guys an idea of what Autopilot is capable of. Again, I do not condone trying this on your own whatsoever. This just happens to be something that I wanted to try, and I don't know, it's just a fun experiment. And so plus I wanted to document this so that as Autopilot receives additional updates in the future, I wanted to see just how well those updates handle tight and confusing situations such as that. There are also a few other traffic situations, road lines and that kind of thing that really confuse Autopilot, and I want to show you guys that as well. And so anyway, yeah, it's been kind of a fascinating experiment today, but yeah, also very fun to do. All right, so as you can see, the Autopilot struggles just a little bit with the traffic circles, actually struggles quite a bit. I have a feeling that larger diameter traffic circles that are marked better would be easier for the Autopilot to handle. And if you guys like this video, maybe I'll go ahead and and find some larger traffic circles in the area, go ahead and let me know in the comments section below if you'd like me to try other traffic circles with a different format or a larger diameter. So anyway, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you're looking to buy a new Tesla, as always, my referral code will be a link in the description below. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.